Okay, so today this is part 2 of monopolies, which is called natural monopolies. And what do we mean by that? Okay, so think of railways, water supply lines, sewage lines, and electricity transmission line. Think of that. Okay, so as far as railways are concerned, you require tracks, miles and miles of tracks. If you were to have two companies who will have to lay down their own tracks, and remember, around the tracks, you have to have an empty space for so many feet because trains go very fast. They affect the structures which are beside them. So you have all of that land locked for one company. Then another company comes, you have land locked for that company. Imagine the kind of land that would be required to be locked. It is not practical. Water supply line. Same thing, that you have to supply water to the city. Now, if every company decides that, the water supply pipes are like so huge that you can almost stand in them. So to lay that down across the city by 3 to 4 companies for every house, is it possible? It just doesn't make sense. Switch lines, electricity transmission lines. You have these huge towers below which you are not allowed to have anything at all because the voltage is so high. And imagine so many of them by different companies. It's not possible. It's not possible because one, the investment costs are very high, and two, duplication of this is going to mean wastage of societal resources also. So what I'm basically trying to say, if I put it in economics lingo, that there are some products which require a lot of investment cost, like laying down tracks, like laying down the water supply lines. In olden days, when telephones were all cables, so like laying down cables, telephone cables across the city, such thick cables across the city for so many companies. This was not possible. Okay, so and what another thing would happen is that if you are laying down these wires across the city, and then you can serve only 1/3 of the city with that cost, it becomes uneconomical. So basically, you will be producing at far higher cost than you would if you were the only producer. Because 3 or 4 of you will be laying down those pipes or laying down those tracks, and you would get just 1/4 of the population to serve. You will not be able to meet your costs. So that would mean that the prices would become very, very high. So basically, I mean, just as I have written over here, that some products require a plant whose capacity to produce at the minimum cost is so huge that it can serve the entire region. And so for a company to be able to produce at the minimum cost, it has to serve the entire region. It has to. Natural monopoly. You can't have more than one because they will not be able to meet their costs. You can have only one in the region. These are called natural monopolies. Have you understood? The nature of the product is such that you can't have more than one player. And as I just explained, I mean, otherwise it would be just very impractical. Okay, well, both for the society and for the company, it would be very impractical. So these are called the natural monopolies. Natural monopolies are, incidentally, guys, found mainly in the utility industry. So इसीलिए I have talked about railways, water supply line. पहले के ज़माने में it was telephone lines, then sewage lines, electric transportation line, and things like that. ठीक है? So utility services. Traditionally, most of such monopolies, these natural monopolies, used to be owned by the government only. And I have asked why. Why do you think that will be the case? Say, the nature of the product is that they are utilitarian. So the moment you say that it is utilitarian, it is not a luxury, it is a necessity needed by everyone. Giving it in the hand of a monopolist would mean that that person can fleece, exploit like nobody's business, because this is a necessity. Electricity is a necessity, water is a necessity, transportation necessity. And imagine a lot of money to be charged by that monopolist because that person is a monopolist. You cannot give it in the hand of a private company. It has to be government monopoly, simply because otherwise it would become too expensive. People will not be able to have it. So the natural wisdom was that when it comes to natural monopolies, which are all these utilitarian services, let that monopolist be the government itself, so that there would be no exploitation at all. Okay. Now, as we progressed with this for decades and decades and decades, because all these railways and water supply lines and sewage lines and everything, that all came into picture only by the 20th century. So decades, I'm not talking about centuries, I'm talking about decades. So for decades, we had the government, which was the natural monopolist. But then we started facing problems. What were the problems? The problems with government-owned monopolies was not that they were charging a lot. They were in fact lots of times making losses. This you will hear about electric transmission lines. You will hear about railways, even today, water supply lines. Government actually incurs a lot of loss running these services. So it's not that the prices were high. What was problematic was they were very inefficient. Government does not know how to do business. Government is into governance. It governs. It does not do business. And you throw it into a business and it will become inefficient because it doesn't know how to run anything professionally. It is made of babus. It is not made of business people. Okay. So it used to be inefficient. And I mean, telephone lines, if it goes bad, for days and days, no technician would come and repair it. And even when the technician comes, lots of times the technician did not know how to repair it. He would go away and things like that. This is as far as the telephone lines are concerned. Water supply lines, Bombay. Water supply lines often have the sewage water seeping into it. And that makes the entire drinking water very polluted. Inefficient services. Okay. So, I mean, for everything, electric transmission lines, the way the electric transmission lines were made, there was a lot of loss of electricity in the transmission. As if that was not enough, there was a lot of theft and things like that. So, and the electric machines, the machines that count how much power you have consumed, used to be a lot of times out of orders, used to be a lot of times broken. Inefficiency, that was the problem with the government monopoly. Then the other problem was that since the babus are running it, who have, it is just a job for them. This is not something which their existence depended on. So there was no innovation. So you can come out with a better phone. You can come out with a better service. You can come out with water supply lines which are made of some other material or other size, or the distribution network can be improved. Nothing. No innovations took place. So it was all continuing at this with the same technology for decades and decades and decades. Absolutely no change, because there was no incentive to innovate. And this runs into losses because your costs increase when you do something like this, when you don't have any innovation. Because your innovation would either reduce the cost or it would improve quality. None of that would happen if government was the monopoly. And of course, I mean, as Indians, we know corruption and nepotism. Nepotism is, I would give the water supply line collection to my Jamai first, or to my Behnoi first, or whatever. But corruption is that you give me so much money and I'll give you connection. Okay, so all of that was also something which was prevailing very much. And over a period of time, this is like around 1990s, that the world decided that these natural monopolies owned by government is not really working. So what is the solution? The solution was that let private firms compete for contracts for one region. So what I'm trying to say is that agreed that electricity for a region has to be provided for by just one firm. So what you say is that I am opening up the market of electricity for all regions for the firms. Firms would bid for it. So there would be a firm which would bid for, say, Ahmedabad. There would be a firm which would bid for, say, Chennai. So there would be firms bidding for different cities. They would be bidding for it, saying that we would provide the electricity with this kind of technology, with this cost. And the best bidder would win. This introduced efficiency, it introduced innovation. So this actually worked very well because, and if they don't work well, if the quality of service is really poor, the contract will not be renewed. And when they bid again, their bid would be thrown out. So you're constantly keeping those companies on their toes. So they will be efficient and they will be also innovative. So that is what this introducing competition for a region was something which solved the problem of natural monopoly. Okay. But at the same time, remember, these bids, these tenders are always looked at very carefully by the government, because they will have, as I told you, as far as monopolist is concerned, if he knows that this is a necessity, people are ready to give whatever to get the supply of this product, that person will charge like nobody's business. So the government tender ensures that the price is already fixed. The company cannot increase the price of this product. So you have to have controlled prices and controlled quality also. If you are looking at electric transmission, you are supplying electricity to the city should not be having blackouts every day. Then that means your service is not good. Okay, so controlled quality, controlled prices. This is how firms have to be controlled by the government. And once you do that, the entire system would now work far more efficiently than it would if the government was the owner alone, or if it was the monopoly by the government. Okay, so this is what I wanted to teach you as far as natural monopolies are concerned. And from the next lecture now, we are going to start with a new market structure, which is oligopoly. As far as natural monopoly is concerned, the economic graphs are not different at all. It is the nature of the product which is different. And so you don't have to learn new graphs for this. Okay, so I'll see you in the next lecture. Bye.